Michael Molloy here from John Molloy in Ardara. Very welcome to Ardara. Ardara is a small little town of about 800 people based in southwest Donegal. And it's a famous little town. It's nestled along the Wild Atlantic Way. The town itself is situated on a river, and the town gets its name from a fort that was built in town, Ardara, which means the height of the fort. So it's a famous little town. It's the home of Donegal Tweed. So right around the world for fashion people and people involved in textiles, Ardara is very, very well known. If you are a visitor coming to Ardara, lovely shops and lovely pubs around the town, but I would also ask you to go and look around the various sort of pieces of landscape that we have, ranging from Glengesh to Asnaranka, which is our waterfall, to Mahara Bay. Then you move along into Yarn, Portnew, Rossbeg, and again you're right on the Atlantic Way, beautiful secluded beaches, nice and clean and blue flags. So we have a lot of activities, from horse riding, golfing, camping, kayaking, many things for the outdoorsy person to do. Ardara is a little town for a centre, fantastic for its music, entertainment. I would say there's not a night in the week but we have Irish music, Killie dancing going on, at least in some pub in the town. So for a place to visit, we get a lot of people coming back year after year, generation after generation, so that people will find themselves coming back to Ardara purely because of the location, but far more importantly because of the people and what goes on around the area. It's also known as a town of festivals. Throughout the year we've about 15 festivals from January to December, so that every single month of the year there's some activity that we generate around the town, which again people try to make sure they come back for a particular festival if they like that sort of thing. So it brings them back to the town, and we're always looking upon trying to introduce new festivals each year just to add a different dimension to what we have to offer to people. So the first festival we have is the Country and Western Weekend. That sets off in January, followed on in February by a festival called South of the Border, which is basically an amateur song contest, and there's very good prizes for it. And then we have St. Patrick's Weekend, which is our international walking festival, followed on probably by our biggest festival in the year, which is called the Cup of Tea, which celebrates a very famous All-Ireland winning fiddle player called John Gallagher. Next then is the Summer Lights Festival, which is basically a festival during the summer months where there's various activities, and it's an international blend of various cultures, taking them to Ardara, place them in this setting, but from different parts of the world. In July, we then have our Bluegrass Festival. Some of our local publicans have a graph for this sort of music, and we've established now over maybe 6 years that a lot of people are into this sort of a type of music. Again, it's coming from America, but it has a very strong Irish influence. We then move into a photography exhibition which takes during the summer months, July and August. Again, this is a fantastic record of black and white photographs, mainly by one local gentleman, Bart Whelan, where over many years he assembled this photo collection, and he also has audio recordings of old people in their own homes where he has gone out, recorded them, and this whole collection is basically like an heirloom of people and generations in the parish, and that goes on July and August. We then have a Wild Atlantic Week. This is something in conjunction with the Wild Atlantic Way, where again we try to get people to come back to the town, to the area, so they can celebrate in their own locality with their own people from various parts of the world. We then have on the, I would say it's probably the first weekend in August, our annual Ardara Agricultural Show. This show was founded in 1904, and it has taken place every year except for a few years during the war time. So again, this is a huge agricultural show in this area, and we probably have it on every year, maybe something in the region of 2,000 to 2,400 exhibits in our agriculture and our, we'd call it our sort of tents for home baking, for jam making, all those various crafts industries as well. Then we have a big summer barbecue at the end of August. Again, this is just another charity event that we run, which again attracts a lot of people. Moving on into September then, we have our famous Johnny Doherty Festival, and it's an Irish dancing weekend. So again, it's to do with Irish music and Irish dance. Then in October we have another festival called the Warp and Weft, which is basically to do with heritage and tradition and folklore. And this year in particular, it focuses on the famous movie Darby O'Gill and Little Peep, where the actual story behind this film was from a gentleman called Jimmy O'Rourke, based here in Ardara. And the people from Disney came here, took all the background, went back to America and made the film. So we're kind of doing a feature on that, on this particular festival, the Warp and Weft, and that's the feature that's going to be running this year. Moving on then to November, we have the Matchmaking Weekend, which again, I suppose it's the Liston, Varna and Donegal, but it is proven to be very, very popular, and people, believe it or not, have to book their places to get on this one. Back then into Christmas time, we have the Poor Farmers Auction, which again is a local fundraising event, and I think at this stage of the game, for the years it's been running, we probably have raised close on maybe €500,000 for various local charities. So very, very interesting, where again a lot of local produce is taken into Tig's Bar. There's a live auction taking place, and everything comes in, gets sold on the night, and all proceeds go to charity. So, as I've just said, Ardara is a buzzing little town. It's not just the summer months, it's right throughout the year, so that any information you need to look up on, check and see what we're at, if you go online and go on www.ardara.ie, it's constantly being updated, and you'll see what's happening, what's about to happen, and what's going to happen in the future. So if there's not something there to whet your appetite and get you to come to Ardara, let us know. We'll get it on the calendar for you.